Good morning and welcome to this very nice autumn Saturday morning. Today is a special day because I'm going to kick off with 5 quotes. Last week I only used one or two. Today I'm going to be 5 and you will see why. The first one from Porter Gale: your network is your net worth. 2 from Ivan Misner: networking is more about farming than about hunting. It's about cultivating relationships. That's a beauty. From Denise Morrison: networking is working. 3, 4, Sally Krawcheck: networking is the number one unwritten rule of success in business. And the last one from Reid Hoffman: your network is the people who want to help you and that you want to help. And that's really, really powerful. My name is Jürgen Moors. I'm a consultant, a strategic advisor, and a coach. And today, you already guessed it, we will talk about networking. And I opened with 5 of these quotes because networking is such an important aspect when you want to become a successful intrapreneur. And there are 2 things about networking. You have external networking, which most people think about immediately when we talk about networking. But today we will solely focus on internal networking inside your own large organization, because that is one of the crucial aspects when you want to really be successful as an entrepreneur inside your large organization. Now, what is a benefit? Let me show you one of the benefits, why you actually should do this. One of the reasons is that you are working in a large organization, and there's nobody in your organization, not even the CEO of your large organization, who knows everything what is going on. So you must discover ways to find opportunities to enhance collaborations, to share knowledge, and that is something you can do via internal networking. And let me give you an example from my own background, from my own past. When I was in my last job and I was transforming this unit from the least digitized to the most digitized over the course of these 10 years, one of the things that I knew that would be crucial in being successful at the end would be the ability to use 5G, because we were so scattered with our asset base over the 600 hectares of a whole site. Now, one thing that we could do was immediately, all the things that we bought and all the things that we integrated in all our projects, we immediately made them 5G ready. But we were not able to experiment with 5G because we didn't have the knowledge and we didn't have the budget. But through networking and through listening, I discovered that the central corporate unit about communications, and also the unit we had internally around communications, they were looking at use cases, useful use cases that they could use to ask for funding internally, but also go outside for funding to set up 5G projects. So we met, we discussed and talked, we discovered each other, we found a partnership in each other, and off we go. And off we went with our projects around 5G, thanks to networking activities. Now, when you look at networking, how do you do this? How do you take this on internally? And would just like to share with you today 3 strategies to start as an entrepreneur. And one of the things is define or discover opportunities. If you work for a large organization, there are many opportunities, whether it's small team meetings, whether it's departmental meetings, whether it's offsite meetings, team buildings. Look for those opportunities. But if you looked for those opportunities, also say yes. Don't be a no sayer. I saw so many people always turning down these events, turning down these opportunities because, yeah, but I got so much job to do. And so they would rather invest their scarce time right now for some short term benefit than investing this immediate time right now in a long term profit that would be way more beneficial in comparison to what they could have in the short run. And one of the things that I did, for instance, is once a year at the end of the year we had this offsite meeting where most people went, and where management typically looked at on the past, what was how did we fulfill our goals, what were the issues, what is coming up next year, And typically there would also be some speakers around some topics that would be hot at the moment in politics or in the social economical environment. But afterwards, we had a walking dinner and a bar. And I always went there because it was for me the moment where I could see some people from my network that I could only see for once or twice every year. Because, like I said, I was working for a really large organization, so I could catch up with them. I could learn about how they professionally were doing and also privately. But I could also discover what the new goals were from all the different silos. And typically, I was one of those persons who closed the bar. So I really stayed late at that specific event. I was not the last one, but one of the last ones to go home. But for me, this event at the end of the year was just putting money in the bank for the next year to come through my networking. So identify opportunities and stop saying no. Number two, build cross-departmental relationships. Why is this so important? Every big organization has these silos, and everything people do is complain about those silos. Now, if you understand them, if you know they are there, and if you network inside those silos, then you can start using them, abusing and manipulating a little bit, but you can start juggling with all of them. And that's, as an intrapreneur, one of the key secrets that you should keep in mind. You should be able to juggle with the silos internally and not complain about them. So you have to network with people inside those silos to understand it. I'll give you one example is that in the unit where I worked, I was in the operational silo, and you also had the engineering silo. And I knew that they needed to do projects around digitization. And typically in the past, most departments would optimize themselves internally. So there was a sub optimization inside the organization, but the cost was for somebody else. And one of the complaints from the operational silo was that everything the engineering silo did to sub optimize cost a lot of money in the operational silo. So I approached him and said, okay, you have to do stuff in digitization, but I want to do a lot of stuff and use cases inside the operational silo, meaning on operations and inside maintenance. We have a lot of projects coming and going. Why don't we look with you guys in the engineering silo to see from what can we do right now when the money is not big, the investment is not big, but we can reap this investment later on in our operational silo. And that's how we brought them on board, and what showed that with a smaller investment, with their time focusing on digitization in the engineering phase, we could have a lot of benefits in the operational phase later on. So great way to optimize for the company and not just for one silo. And the third thing is be approachable and be proactive. Don't wait, start building your network when you have an issue, because then you immediately have to approach people, build a relationship, say from, hey, I need your help. No, do it way in advance, build your network way in advance, give more than you get back, and don't expect something back. That's also really important. And be approachable. If you look at most of the tech stars or the tech entrepreneurs these days, and don't look at the top ones, but just all the rest, they are really, really approachable because they've learned that they need help from others. They also help each other, and you never know when you need help. So use them as an example, and try to be that way as well. So be approachable and be proactive in it. So strategies here uh, across the network, across your silos. Make sure you keep on searching for opportunities and don't say no, and be yourself proactive and approachable in advance. Now, once when you have those network, when you have that network and you have those people, you also have to make sure you have to take care of it. It's not just one time event. No, you have to make sure that in the best way internally, you make sure that you keep up with them. This can be doing by regular communication. It can be an email, can be a phone call. But if you're working on the same site, or when you're moving and traveling and you are at a site, take the time to go to lunch with them, to dinner, maybe just a coffee at the coffee machine. This is also a way to keep that connection going and this exchange. And sometimes just 5 minutes exchanging brings you already a new opportunity. So keep on doing this with this regular communication. Provide value and support, meaning it ticks into what I said before: be approachable, be proactive, but share your knowledge, share what you have. Because I was one of the ones that really focused on digitization, had a lot of knowledge and had a lot of my external network as well. When somebody approached me, I would share everything that I knew. They could get my slides, they could use it, they could copy it. There was no issue. So I never expected anything back. But if one day I needed something, they would be approachable from my kind as well because I shared so much. They knew it, everything was for free. Definitely with your colleagues, you have to make sure that everything is for free. So provide value and support for your network as well. And if you notice that they have a problem, but don't directly ask you for help, offer your help. They still have to take it, of course, but you can at least offer them, and you don't have to be in your pride because I have to be asked. Um, and last thing is, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, use technology. In the past, you had to call or send an email or actually meet in person. Now you can start messaging. You can use collaborative software, social networks. So you can go even beyond your networking skills, or the networking that we used before. So when we build the network, now you have to maintain the network. And now let's focus a little bit on, yeah, can you have problems with building this network? And depending on the person that you are, you can. If I look at myself in the beginning of my career, I was more of an introvert person. So networking, whether it was externally or internally, was a little bit of a hurdle, especially in my mind. And then you could also have hierarchical barriers. Sometimes they are not approachable, but in the case, in my case, they were most of the time approachable. It was again in my head because when I met a president that was 4 or 5 levels up from me, I had so much respect for these persons that I just was afraid to tackle that. So be aware if you have some internal barriers to do the networking, whether it's internal your company or external, and start working on them as well. And you can do this in many different ways. Try to come up with a joke, for instance. Start with a small goal and just saying one sentence. Or just make sure that if you stand in a crowd and you want to talk to somebody, that you be the first to speak. Use somebody else to introduce you, or use somebody else to bring you in conversation with somebody. You can ask them to do it. That's what your network is also for. Or you can ask them, hey, you know this guy, or do you know this woman? Can you help me to get a connection with her internally as well? Find mentors that can help you with that, because they can also introduce you. Even after such an event, they can say okay, I will arrange a meeting with them for you so that you can introduce yourself a little bit. They get to know you a little bit better because they are the president, but finally you are working for them as well. So if you have problems with networking, think about that, be aware of that, don't push it away and try to get this, because the problem is most of the time in your head. Try to solve these things with small steps, with help. Again, there with help, with a mentor, with a coach, everything can be there. So build your network, make sure that you keep the network and nourish the network, and then if you have issues, make sure that you solve them as well. Now, what I urge you today, because we come to the end of this live stream for the day, is think about it. What's my network worth? How big is it? Where do I miss certain things? Do I have these connections towards other silos? Yes or no? And do I have problems networking? And define one of the things in there and start tomorrow working on it. Define one action where you can say, okay, I saw some topics. I took one of the most important topics in there, and now I'm going to start with one action working on it and build it up. Because in my case, it did not change from one day till the next. It also took some months and years to get really comfortable in that. But once when you are, you'll see that it also makes your job as an entrepreneur easier. And it is, and I want to say it again, networking externally, but definitely also internally, is crucial if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur in your large organization. And with that, I say goodbye. Enjoy your beautiful autumn Saturday. And I see you tomorrow on Sunday. And then we will talk about how to spot opportunities for innovation. See you then. Bye bye.